Hey guys, welcome to another webinar. Thank you so much for joining us again. This month, I'm super excited because we're actually doing a webinar we've never done before. It's our first webinar ever that's focused on the tech side of things. Hopefully everyone will be able to learn a little bit more about the tech side or get any answered questions on the tech side of things that maybe they've wondered or they've dealt with before. As you can see, I'm joined by a very special guest, Flirt4Free's tech liaison, Jared, who I'm sure many of you have spoken to on email or the phone or Skype. So Jared, if you want to introduce yourself, talk about what you do at Flirt and how long you've been with Flirt.
So awesome. Thanks, Carlos. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? I'm Jared, and I am the broadcast tech liaison for Flirt4Free. Basically, if you guys have any tech issues with the Performer application or anything that is required to broadcast, you'll be contacting me. And I've been with Flirt4Free for 5 years.
Awesome. So we're just going to wait a couple of minutes for some more people to join, and then we'll get started. If you guys have any questions on whatever topic we're going over, feel free to send them in the chat, and Jared and I will be answering them as we go. And then don't worry, at the end, if there's anything we didn't cover, we'll do a Q&A where we can answer any questions you guys have. So feel free to either send questions in the question tab, which is above the chat, or just send them in the chat and we'll answer them as we go towards the end. I see a lot of people from a lot of different countries, which is awesome. I see Colombia, Canada, Brazil, Turkey. So welcome, everybody. And I see some of you saying that you maybe speak Spanish or a different language. If you have any questions, feel free, or if there's something that we go over that you don't understand, send it through the question tab, and I can answer anything in Spanish. We also have Juliana in the chat who can answer things in Russian. Jordan's in the chat as well from our team who will be helping answer questions and sending links as well. So don't worry, we have a few languages covered. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So one of the questions that we get a lot from new models and new studios that join the site, or even established models that are gonna go out and buy new equipment, is what to look for when you're purchasing a computer. So Jared, if you could go over, what to look for when buying a new computer or laptop, and maybe like minimum RAM versus like the ideal RAM to get like the best quality video and stuff.
Sure. So basically, the first thing when you're looking to buy a new device, stay away from Chromebooks, because the Performer application does not work on a Chromebook. They are cheap, and a lot of people do love going for them, but unfortunately, the Performer application does not work on a Chromebook. When you're looking to buy a new computer, definitely do your research. I can't stress that enough. You could be buying a brand new computer, but it'll have 3-year-old parts in it. So just be wary of what you're purchasing. When it comes to computer specs, as far as RAM, ideally you would want at least 8 megabytes of RAM installed into a computer. If you were going to buy a new computer today, I wouldn't buy a computer with anything less than 16 gigs of RAM. Computer parts are getting a lot cheaper, and 16 gigs is about the standard if you're going to buy a new device right now.
Awesome. And if we switch over real quick to internet speed, that's another question we get a lot. What's like the minimum internet speed that a model needs to have in order to be able to broadcast? And then what's like the ideal internet to like really have like really good high quality internet? Because I'm not a tech expert, but one thing I do know is that you could have like the best camera in the world and the best like computer, but if your internet speed isn't where it needs to be, you're still not going to have that like great quality video.
Very true. So when you're doing an internet speed test, or when you're looking at your internet speeds, you're going to get 3 different results. You're going to get a ping, which is your latency. The lower on the ping, the better. And I would say anything below 25 on your ping is really good. Anything above 75 to 100, you're going to be having a really laggy stream. Your download speed isn't as important for broadcasting live video to the internet. If you have anything around 100, that's about normal. For the upload speed, however, the upload speed is a very important one. We want to see our models at a tested upload speed of 5 megabits per second or better. And here's the tricky thing about speed tests is when you run a speed test, you're going to be doing it locally. Now, when you connect to our servers, they can be states away, they can be miles away, they can be, you know, pretty far away from you. So you're going to be connecting to our servers. When you connect to our servers, you can expect a drop in an upload speed of about half. So if you have a local tested upload speed of 10 megabits per second, when you're connected to us, you can expect that to drop to about half, which is 5. And that's where we want to see you. If you have a 5 megabit upload speed or better while connected to us, you shouldn't have as many problems. And you have wiggle room because that speed is not going to be constant. It's going to drop a little bit. It'll even increase a little bit. But when it does drop, you have enough wiggle room so that your customers don't see a break in your video.
Amazing. And if you guys saw, Jordan actually put in a link to speedtest.net, which is a great website that you guys can go to test your internet speed at this moment. So thank you, Jordan. And also thank you, Levi and Alana, for helping translate into Spanish. Now, Jared, we did get one question from FAQs that said, is there any useful app for PC for maintenance to check like the health, speed, like et cetera, like just for the overall quality?
Not necessarily. There are tools that you can download that monitor temperatures of your computer, which are really important. There's a program. It's called. Let me see here.
And another thing we're going to cover actually in a little bit is how to check your Windows for updates, because Mac, for example, is really good about telling you that you need to update to like the new iOS, but Windows doesn't always. So Jared's going to let us know how to really check for those, because a lot of weird glitches that might happen can be attributed to not being on the most updated Windows. So we'll cover that later as well.
Yeah. The program I was going to tell you guys about is a little bit more technical, and it has to do a little bit more with about like, you know, what type of power your computer's drawing, how fast everything's really running. It's a little bit more technical, but what I would just highly suggest is make sure you keep your computers updated. If you're on a Windows computer, run Windows Defender. Windows Defender is really good. You don't necessarily need Norton antivirus bogging up your computer, McAfee antivirus bogging up your computer, running in the background, using resources that you want to be allocated towards broadcasting. Keep your computers updated.
And then the next thing that we get a lot of questions on is webcams. So I know I usually recommend Logitech webcams just because they're good quality. You could find some that are not super expensive that can still give you really good video. But I just wanted to see if there were any other webcams that you would recommend.
We like the Logitech webcams. They're really good webcams. This is I'm using a C920 myself right now. I've seen that webcam as cheap as $50 online. Right now, I think they're a little bit more expensive, unfortunately, due to the COVID scene, everybody doing Zoom. Everyone's purchasing up those webcams, and they've probably gotten a little bit better or a little bit higher. I see somebody wrote in about the Logitech BCC 950. That one is a really good cam as well. Keep in mind, though, the highest quality video on Flirt4Free is 720p. So if you're getting a 4K camera, it's being downgraded to 720p on the site for the customers. And your customers will also need like a 4K monitor to see you in true 4K as well, or to see 4K video. So they probably don't have 4K monitors. going back to the webcams, Logitech C920 is really good. The C930 is really good. The BCC 950 is really good. That one has a remote. I know a lot of models like the remote. And yeah, I wouldn't necessarily spend too much money on it. The Logitech C920 is at the high end about $100.
We got a excuse me, a question from Jonah. That's when will Flirt be getting 1080 or 4K? That's something that we're looking into, and we might get it in the future. The reason that we actually don't have it right now is because in order for customers to view your video in 4K, they need to be on a device that can play the video at 4K. And there's still not a large majority of the customers that have a device that can play that. So in the future, that might be something we add once it's more readily available and more customers are on devices that can play it. But at the moment, there wouldn't be a huge difference. But yeah, we're always updating things. We actually soon are hoping to launch a mobile app. So you guys will be able to cam from your phone or from tablets. That's something that definitely is coming soon. And we'll see, maybe 4K will come in the future. Now, Jared, one other thing, it's like a tip that you gave me once a long time ago, like I think when we were like newer at Flirt, which was about like computers overheating when you're on them for too long. And I remember you talked about like these like cooling pad type of things that are really cheap, and they just sort of help keep your computer running smoothly as well.
Yeah, so I noticed a lot of models, they love using their laptops. They love moving their laptops around the room, which is great, changes the setting, gets a new feel for the customers, which is awesome. But if you broadcast and you put your laptop on your bed, your computer is going to get really hot, and heat is going to be a big issue with laptops. So what I suggest is, looking into ways to counteract the heat. So a cooling pad, laptop cooler, you can look them up on Amazon. They're probably about $20 for a cheap one. Anywhere up to like $50 for one that has a bunch of USB ports on the back of it. Those are really great. You can also, what I do is I'll tilt it so the laptop's at an angle, and I put a book underneath it so more air can get underneath it. That also helps. But if you notice that you're having problems, go ahead and just feel the bottom of your laptop. If it's really hot, you can really pinpoint where your computer is slowing down at.
All right, so next topic that I wanted to cover was just some good internet practices that you can share with people.
Internet practices. Yeah, I mean, make sure you're staying on secured websites. Definitely, you don't want to be going down a rabbit hole on clicking on links and stuff and going to unsecured websites. You can get malware, you can get viruses, which is just not good for your computer. It's going to be using up resources that you want to be using for broadcasting. Keep your computer updated. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I remember you had given me a bunch of like tips for Wi-Fi. So like I remember you were talking about like the line of sight and like the height and stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're on Wi-Fi, generally it's best if you want to have the least amount of problems while you're broadcasting on Flirt4Free, you want to be the only one using that Wi-Fi at that time. If that's not something that's usually going to happen in your household, you want to be maybe in direct line of sight of that router. So the Wi-Fi signal doesn't have to travel through walls or, around in different angles to get to you. Also, the higher your router is, if it's 7 feet or above, it's easier for your computer to get that Wi-Fi signal than if the router is on the ground. If the router's on the ground, it's gonna be harder. If you can directly connect your computer to the internet, that would be the best. That would give you the fastest speeds, the more constant speeds. You wouldn't see necessarily a big drop in upload speed or any of that nature. That would probably be about it for as far as good Wi-Fi usage.
It's so crazy that elevation for the Wi-Fi or the modem would make such a big difference. Like I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, yeah. People are really bad at Wi-Fi signals don't travel through humans very well, and
Oh,
there's also something else that you can get if you want to look into it. You can look into getting a Wi-Fi booster as well. If your house is
ooh,
big and the router's on one side of the house, you can put a booster in the middle, and it'll increase the speeds to you.
that's crazy. I've never even heard of a Wi-Fi booster. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely, guys, hardwiring your computer into your internet source, if possible, is definitely going to give you the best quality internet. For Windows, it's really easy. You just need to go out and buy an Ethernet cable, which you can get on Amazon or Best Buy or a store for like $5 or less. For Mac, you just need to buy a little adapter for it, and with that, you can use the you can also hardwire that in, and that'll make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So the next thing is an error that comes up all the time, which is the fatal error. So I'm gonna go ahead and screen share so I can show you guys what this error looks like, and Jared's gonna walk you through how to fix this. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. It's like a really crazy long error that you'll get when you're in the Perform app. So here we are logged into the Perform app. If we go to the Flirt University section, we have a tech issues tab, which is dedicated to the most common tech issues. You'll find a lot of answers to common issues on here. So if we click this, you'll see that we'll have a link to best cams, which Jordan linked over earlier. We have training videos, FAQs, but here specifically, we have several different guides on different things that might come up while you're camming. This specifically is the one on the fatal error. So if any of you guys have ever seen this, Jared, if you want to take over.
Sure. Basically, when you get that fatal error, what happens is, or why you're getting that fatal error is because you haven't updated your computer. Windows updates come with .NET Framework, and that's why you're getting that fatal error. So if you see that fatal error when you install the Performer application, you try to open it, just go ahead and uninstall the Performer application, check for Windows updates, and what you'll do is you'll install those Windows updates. You'll restart your computer afterwards. After you've restarted your computer, you're going to want to go ahead and check for more Windows updates. Unfortunately, Windows is kind of tricky that way. If you haven't updated your computer in a while, it'll want to do it in stages, and it'll want to restart your computer after it's installed maybe 1, 2, or 3 updates. And if there's more, it'll tell you that there's more. When you go ahead and check for more updates and Windows tells you that there's no more updates, then you're fully updated. Go ahead and install the Performer application again, and it should open up. I have seen problems where it still doesn't open up. And what we would want you to do is to do a fresh install of the Performer application, which requires an extra step in deleting some folders. And that is something that we'll show you a little bit later on in this webinar. It should be in that guide as well.
Yeah, if you scroll down, yeah.
Does it say? It just gives you the steps. There is a guide on how to fresh install as well.
And that actually leads us to the next thing. So one thing that sometimes happens is that when people uninstall the Performer app, they're not actually fully uninstalling it, so it's not really doing much. So Jared, if you could screen share and just walk people through how to actually properly, fully uninstall the Performer app from their computer.
Sure. Let me... share an app window. Is it share an app window? No,
no,
an entire screen.
Yeah, share the screen.
And okay, this is different. But that worked. Okay, so if I wanted to uninstall the Performer application, which is right there, there's a lot of different ways. The easiest way I do it is I just right-click on the Start button, and I can go to Settings, and then you can go to Apps, and you can uninstall right here from Apps and Features. You can also type into search. Windows is really intuitive. If you type in Add Remove, you can go there. It's right there in the search. Uninstall. Uninstall. It's basically giving us the same result. So since we're here at apps and features, I'll show you that again. I just right click on it and I click on settings. Right click on the start bar. I go to apps and features. I scroll down to the performer application, which is right here. Go ahead and uninstall this. All right, so we've uninstalled the performer application. It's going to disappear from that list. Here is the part that it can be a little tricky. Once you get it, it's pretty easy. We go into the C drive, wherever we installed the performer application to. I have multiple hard drives on my computer. You guys will most likely just have one. It's going to be the C drive. Then you're going to want to go into your user's profile. Then you're going to want to go into your user. So this is my user on my computer. This folder right here is actually going to be hidden. So what you have to do is you have to view and show hidden items, which is right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. View, show hidden items. And then that will actually bring up that app data folder. So you can't see it anymore. Now you can. And we're going to go into the roaming folder, and we're going to delete Flirt4Free from our computer. And we're also going to do that for the local folder. Delete both of these. So we have a guide on Flirt4Free in the tech issue section that'll give you a link. It's basically, you can copy and paste it right into this address bar, and it'll take you to this folder here, or it'll actually open up this folder, and you'll have to go in and delete the Flirt4Free folder there and delete the Flirt4Free folder in here as well. So now that we've deleted them, we're going to empty our recycle bin. I've already downloaded the performer application from the site, so I can just show you that, I guess. Flirt4Free. You guys will be going to studios.flirtforfree.com, logging in, software applications. And you'll come over here to download the Windows Performer application. It'll appear in the downloads folder. So mine is actually in my Dropbox, which I don't. Oh, there it goes. And we're basically going to install it as if it were brand new.
Perfect. So that was the full process of how to fully uninstall and then reinstall again, which in a lot of cases will fix random glitches or random crashes that are happening within the app.
Yes, definitely.
And then the next thing I wanted to cover is a lot of models that are on a MacBook. When you first download the Mac version of the Performer app, because it's not an app that's coming from the App Store, from the Mac Store, sometimes you'll get an error. So Jared, if you stop the screen share, I'll go ahead and play the video on how to get the Mac PA to open when the Apple software says it doesn't recognize it.
Yeah. This will happen for anybody who is installing the Mac Performer application for the first time. And if you uninstall the Performer application on your Mac, to reinstall it, you'll also get this error for the first time.
Perfect. So I'll play the video.
So here, basically, you're seeing me go to the performer, or logging in as a performer, going in to download the Mac software. Once you click on it to download it, it should appear in your downloads folder, as you can see right there. When you double click on it on Mac, what it's going to do is it's going to mount the image, the disk image, and you can then you drag to install it, and it's going to appear in the applications folder. And here I'm just cleaning everything up. Once you've installed it, you can eject the disk image to get rid of it off of your desktop. And here you can see me trying to open up the Performer application for the first time and getting that wonderful error that Apple likes to give us. So if you just right click on it or control click on the trackpad, which will pull up the additional options, you can click on open and it gives you a new error message that shows open as well. Once you click on open, on that error message, anytime you open up the Performer application, as you can see right there, I'm not getting that error message again, and it'll open up just like any normal application would on your computer.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I want to take a quick break and just answer a couple questions we've gotten. So one question we got from Jamie is, my system meets all the requirements for streaming, but it still says dropping frame rates even when I drop the resolution and frame rate. Would that be due to like the internet speed, or?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Or are you asking her? So basically, there are a lot of variables that go into broadcasting and having a good clean stream on any website, really. If you're streaming live video to the internet, having a good constant internet speed is one of them. Making sure that your computer is not overheating is another one, because if your computer's hot, the harder your computer is going to be working. And you're just going to have problems broadcasting. System meets all the requirements for streaming. Says it's dropping. Okay. So my question to you is, where is it saying that it's dropping frame rates?
And then
That's what I would like to see. And Jamie, I will probably be emailing you. Let me write this down so I can get some more information from you.
Yeah, actually, Jamie, if you go ahead and send an email to techissues@flirt4free.com, Jared can look into your specific case and help you get it fixed.
Yes. And that goes for anybody else. If anybody wants to email me directly, techissues@flirt4free.com, I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Then Natalie Foltz asks, do you recommend having a VPN on a computer?
Yes, I highly recommend a lot of people having VPNs. They're just great in general. Unfortunately, for broadcasting, you don't necessarily want to be connecting to different points on the map. That's going to really affect, you're going to see a drop in connection. You're already, if you are in California and you're connecting to a server that's in Texas, you don't want it to your computer to say, I'm in Europe and then I'm connecting back to Texas. That your internet speeds are just going to drop a lot. So when you're broadcasting on Flirt4Free, I would suggest no VPN and a good strong internet connection.
And then another question that we got from Tom is, what is better for streaming, a computer with Xeon or Core CPU?
I'm not familiar. Where is that question?
It's in the questions tab.
Okay.
Like the next to the chat one.
For CPUs, AMD Ryzen is really good. They're raising the bar on Intel. Exactly. AMD Ryzen is they're coming up right now. They used to be the cheap brand, but they're actually increasing their specs, which is really great. Intel is also really good. You want a CPU speed of about, if you're going to get a new device, 3.0 gigahertz or better. Most of these computers coming out nowadays, they have a boost speed of about 4.0 gigahertz. Yeah, Ryzen 3, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, they're all really good.
Awesome.
Risen is really good with multitasking. They have more cores.
Perfect. So the next thing I wanted to ask you about is how to check for updates on a Windows computer, because like I said earlier, Mac is really good about sending you an alert saying like, hey, there's a new update, download it, and you can schedule it. Windows isn't always so open about or so in your face with new updates, and a lot of the weird glitches or weird like crashes and errors that models get when they're broadcasting can be attributed back to your computer just not being fully updated and those causing random issues. So I've seen a lot of people in the chat mention things about their PA crashing or random issues or just weird things. So Jared, if you could please walk us through how to look for, how to check if your Windows has updates that haven't been installed.
Sure. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. We'll do this one. Boom. Okay. So it's basically the same way as you are going to uninstall a program. Again, Windows is very intuitive. If you were to do Windows Update, it brings it up right there in the search engine. If you don't have this search bar here, if you click on the start bar and start typing, the search bar will appear. Another way I go to it as well is I right click on the start bar, go to settings, and it's also right here in update and security. When you click here, it'll take you there. You're going to want to actually click on this button to check for updates. And a lot of times there will be a feature update in this section that's directly underneath it. So it said my computer was up to date and I checked for updates and you guys saw it live. It's a Windows Defender update, but it was an update. I think we lost Carlos.
I'm back. Sorry. I think my doctor something. That's so weird.
But yeah, that's how you'd update your computer. If there was any updates to install, any major or feature updates to install, it'll prompt you to restart your computer. You can also check down in the start bar menu down here. Sometimes it'll say restart required. Go ahead and do that. Please do not ignore those. You do need to restart your computer to fully install those updates. Boom.
Yes, so whenever you're getting random little glitches, your app keeps crashing, things like that, the first thing I would recommend doing is checking your Windows to make sure you have updates. If there are any pending ones, update it. If you're still getting those weird glitches or errors, do the full uninstall and reinstall like Jared showed earlier. And then if you're still having issues, if things are still wonky, email Tech Issues directly and Jared can link up with you and help diagnose exactly what's causing your issues.
Definitely.
So the next thing I wanted to chat about that a lot of us have gotten is that is with the cam to cam. So we recently did an update to our cam to cam, which allows customers to request that while you're in open or party. And we get a lot of questions from models and studios on how exactly this works. So we're gonna go ahead and play a quick video that Jared prepared on the cam to cam and how that all works.
So you guys can see, this is broadcasting like normal, customers in the room. There's a VIP customer, and VIP customers can open up their cams while the model is in open chat. And so it takes a few seconds for it to get going. We'll see. Maybe more than 30 seconds. All right, so you can see that the administrator, I've opened up my cam, and you can see the cam to cam icon appeared to the right of the username. A big thing is what you can see here. A lot of models don't know that you can adjust the username section, and sometimes that cam to cam icon is hidden. So if you see the message and you don't see the cam-to-cam icon, just know that you can adjust that user list. Depending on how long the username, you might have to adjust the user list to see that cam-to-cam icon. That's where it's always going to be, and that's how you will open it, and you can close it by pressing it again. Keep in mind that you won't get any audio from the customer while you're in open chat. So this is us in a show. Same thing. I start the cam, and let's see. I pull it up. It's probably it gets pulled on my other monitor, so I have to drag it over, and you can see that there's a an audio icon there as well. So that looks like it's going to be defaulted to mute right away. So just don't forget that you will need to unmute your customer in order to hear him. And also, if your customer is having trouble with his audio, make sure that he's also unmuted himself. It's going to be in the same general area on the little cam-to-cam box. That happens a lot where the customer just had himself muted and he couldn't figure out what was going on.
Awesome. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on the cam-to-cam, feel free to send them over. I see we got a couple. Julie asks, when you're in cam-to-cam, other customers cannot see them, right? And that is correct. So when you open up the customer's video, you can open up more than one customers at the same time if you're like in a multi-user show or a party chat, but only you will be able to see their video. Other customers won't be able to see each other. Lee asks, a lot of members complain that they are unable to write while in the chat. Lee, what I recommend for that is that might be a user error, or it might be something specific to that case. I would recommend telling those customers to reach out to customer service. We have a 24/7 team that's amazing that can that can reach out directly to those customers and help them, you know, resolve those so that they can be able to type back. And then V asks, unrelated, but what about graphic card specs?
Let's see, graphic card specs. You know, if you're building your own computer, you might want to look into it a little bit deeper. But if you're just buying a like a laptop, anything with a dedicated video card in it is going to be a lot better than integrated graphics. A lot of graphics cards these days, and anything. I can see somebody posted the NVIDIA GTX 10 series. Which can give you an idea about where you'd want to be. The 10 series is a great series. They usually have 4 gigs of dedicated DDR4 RAM installed on those graphics cards, all the way up to 12 gigabytes. They're in the 30 series. So it went from 10 to the 20 series to the 30 series. And I have a 10 series on my computer, and it's still kicking butt. You know, the GTX 1650 is also a really good and inexpensive card as well. But generally, you're not going to see those in laptops or anything.
Very cool. Rose also asks that sometimes the user doesn't have audio, but the user wants the model to hear them. So Rose, in those cases, if you already turned your audio on in the cam-to-cam and you still can't hear them, the customer probably needs to turn the audio on their end. So just the same way you have to click the little like microphone button to turn on your audio, they'll have to do the same thing. So I would just guide them to say, you know, under your video there's a little icon, just click it, and then the audio will come through on both sides. Let's see. So we have a couple other questions that we'll answer, and then after these questions we'll move on to the interactive toys and stuff. But Nadia asks, I had my entire player shut down and logged me out entirely during a private show before. Any thoughts on why this may have happened? So Nadia, there's so many reasons that could have caused that. So I would recommend when things like this happen, send an email to us, either to Tech Issues or to assist@Flirt4Free.com, and include as much detail as you can so that we can look at it in live time. Jared, in cases like this, what type of information should a model send over with that email or with that message to help us be able to try to figure out what caused it?
So for me specifically, I'm a visual guy. I love seeing things, so I can best understand it. A lot of times, even maybe some models in here have heard me say, "Can I just connect to your computer? I'll be able to help you out," and so I can see things. So if you're reporting an issue, something very similar to that, a brief description of what happened just before the error. Was a tip? Did a tip come in? Did a tip flood come in? Were you trying to open up cam to cam, or did an error message pop up on your computer? Any sort of information just before the error really helps me out. Any screenshots that you can get. If there's an error message where it just stays on your computer, don't just click OK first. Take a screenshot of it, take a picture of it on your phone, send that to me. Sometimes that just lets me know, oh, this is what happened. You lost connection or something. That would probably be the best. Screenshots and a brief description, and yeah, anything else that you can think of. The more information I have, the better. Like I said, I'm a visual guy, so I love seeing screenshots, videos. If you can recreate the problem, that would be the best thing ever, because then you would be able to show me exactly how you did it.
Awesome. And one other thing, Helvert and Rosa were asking about the cam-to-cam audio not working. One thing that happens a lot, and it sounds really silly, but a lot of customers use cam-to-cam on their cell phone. And if the audio on their cell phone is turned off, even if they enable the audio on the cam-to-cam, it won't come through. So even just reminding the customer, like if you already turn on the audio by clicking the button, make sure that the audio on your laptop or your phone is on. That's something that does happen quite a bit. Let's see, another question that we got from Gustavo is, I've seen that Flirt4Free software has a good data buffer. Where can I change the size and time of the buffer?
Data buffer. That might be something that I will have to talk to the dev team about. Gustavo, go ahead and email me, and I can find out more information for you. This buffer is the best on all sites, webcam models. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to get more information for you on that one. Fortunately, I don't know about that off the top of my head.
And then we got another message that said, recently customers are stating that they can't see me in private chat when they're using their webcam. They say I am a small dot. Any suggestions for this issue, which is a new issue, Jamie says.
Where's that one at?
That one's in the question tab. It's the question right underneath Nadia. It's the second one.
Can you say it again? I don't see it.
Yeah, it says, recently customers are stating that they can't see me in a private chat when they are using their webcam as well. So I'm assuming cam to cam. They say I'm a small dot.
A small dot. Yeah, and again, that's something that I need to see. I don't know exactly what they mean by a small dot. If they're not able to see you, maybe they have to restart their browser. It really helps if I know, are they on mobile? Are they using a computer? What type of device they're using? It could be a simple cookies and cache issue on their web browser. You could have a drop in connection where there was a problem with the video. Another helpful tool that I like to tell models now is if your customers are telling you that they can't see you and you're broadcasting live in your room, go ahead and try to restart your broadcast. It's underneath the help menu, and if you click on help and then click on restart broadcast, that can sometimes help get your video back online. When you do that, also you want to tell your customers to restart their browser as well.
Perfect. Deanna says, I've had some trouble. Sometimes when a model finishes her private, she's moved to public chat right away. There should be a pause, Diana. It's 30 seconds. So a model, once a private ends, should be kept in that private for 30 seconds after before going into open. If she needs more time, I always recommend just clicking the start break button. If there's ever a time when the private ends and before those 30 seconds, the model's put back in open, just email us. Email us the time that it happened, and like Jared said, as much information as you can provide so that we can look into what caused that and make sure that it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, that is not supposed to happen. And again, yeah, email me. We need to be able to see exactly what's going on, and we'll handle that through the email and get specific with your computer.
Yeah, and like Sovak says, restarting your PC can do a lot, so that's always a good tip as well. Perfect. So now we're going to move on to interactive toys. So let me play a video that Jared prepped for this. And you said the cell phone one first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is going to be a video of connecting Levin's device to your phone. Don't mind the audio. It's just kind of blank noise. But this is, basically connecting it as if it was a brand new device. You're going to want to search for the device, have the device in Bluetooth mode. I had the Lush, and it paired up very nicely. You can see it get connected. The second step is you're going to want to go ahead and add the QR code. So this is me. I clicked on it to add the QR code, and I'm on my computer right now getting the QR code from the Performer application. A good thing is sometimes those QR codes, if you change the way you have your phone, instead of it being up and down, sometimes it can get those QR codes a little bit better if you do a horizontal view. I've had problems when I'm trying to get exactly right in the box and everything, and sometimes it just doesn't get it, but when I turn it, gets it in a second. So that's how you would add a device and add the account, the QR code. And then the second video.
One question that I get from models, or that we all get from models a lot, is sometimes they open up either the Levins app or the Field Performer, the Field Connect app, and they're connected to Flirt or whatever, but the toy doesn't come up, like the Lush doesn't actually pop up. So in those cases, what do you recommend doing?
Maybe just starting fresh again. If you got to make sure you're using the correct toy with the correct app. If you're using a Levin's toy with the Field Connect app, that's just not going to work. The Field Connect app is more for the Oh My Bod toys and some of the Wii Vibe toys. Make sure that you're checking the interactive section on studios.flirt4free.com for the toys that are specific and that are supported by those applications. But if you have a Lush toy and you were trying to use the Levin's Connect app and your toy is on in Bluetooth mode, your phone is on and it's searching and it just can't find it, I would say restart the device, restart both devices, turn off your toy, restart your phone, and you may even want to uninstall and reinstall the application on your phone as well. That has to do with Bluetooth connection, really.
Yeah, I remember when we were all testing at the office, like linking the toys to the app when we first launched all this. We had cases where the toy just wouldn't pop up on the app, and literally just turning off the Bluetooth on the phone and turning off the device, then returning on the Bluetooth on the phone, going back into the app and restarting the device, it would always work.
Yeah, my biggest thing is I always tell models to start brand new, as if everything was right out of the box. Remove the site from the app. Remove if you had a toy connected to the app, go ahead and remove that as well, and just pair everything as if it was brand new.
Awesome. So now I'm going to move over I'm going to play the next interactive video.
Yeah, so this is going to be showing you basically the Performer application side of connecting your interactive toy. You can see I've already enabled Levin's, but you can see you can go into the setup again. Unfortunately, these Lush levels or any of the levels on the Levin's toys, you can't adjust those right now, but you can see there's the QR code, and make sure you hit save. Make sure you hit save. Once you've saved it, you can close that window down, and in the Levin's icon on the Performer application, you can send yourself a test tip to know that it's working. And that's basically it for this video. Connecting how to connect your toy to the Performer application.
And one thing that I will preview really quick is that I do believe sometime in the next couple months, we will launch an update that will allow you to customize a little bit more regarding like the this tip menu. So that is something that is coming hopefully very soon that I think you guys will be excited about. Yeah, so that was pretty much what we have prepared. If you guys have any questions that we didn't cover or any topics that you want to know more about, feel free to send them over and we'll answer them as they come in. And let's see. Julie says, when I'm connected to the system with my Lush, how do I change my tip settings? Okay, so Julie, it's not right. It's not there yet, but it is something that we are working on. So it will be an update where you'll be able to adjust those very soon. And when that's ready, we'll send an announcement so you guys all know. Stacy asked, how is the proof set? If you could elaborate a little bit on that for us, we can answer it. Jono asked actually a really great question. Do you need a phone to connect your interactive toy, or are you able to just connect directly to through the computer?
There is a what is it? The dongle. There's a USB thing that you can that sometimes I've heard models get. I just highly suggest using the phone. It's easy. It's easier, and yeah, there are people who have used the Lovence or there's like a Lovence web browser that they use as well. I'm not too sure how that works. I've always used the phone. It works really great. I would highly suggest just sticking with that.
Yeah, I think using it through the phone, one, is more secure for you. Two, it's a stronger connection, so you're gonna have less, issues with it. And three is that if you connect via the mobile app on your phone, if your customer also has an interactive toy and he links it through the phone as well to the site, your toys can interact. So we're the only site actually out of any cam site that has the technology where customers can also link up their toy and your toy can control their toy, or their toy can control yours. So if you do it through the phone and you have customers that also have their own interactive toys, both of your toys can interact with each other, which is really, really cool and really innovative. And it's something that just adds a physical aspect to this, especially because this is so virtual. So just like an extra little perk. Let's see. Another question we got is, what is the best configuration settings for streaming with OBS?
And that's all going to be specific to your computer, unfortunately. What type of hardware you have in your computer is going to basically determine how high you can increase your settings to. What I suggest when you're using OBS is to use the auto config wizard. That will you can configure it specific to your computer, and it'll give you recommended settings. Sometimes you do need the server URL and the stream key in order to complete that the auto wizard, but you can definitely get all of that information. If you email me, I can walk you through it. I can show you how to do it as well.
And then for anyone that uses OBS or wants to use it, if you go to Flirt University, we also have a guide on how to use it and how to pair it up when you're setting it up for the first time.
And just so I don't, completely just walk over that question without answering any of it, the video resolution, you definitely would want it to be 1280 by 720. The bit rate is what really is going to vary from computer to computer. So if you have a high bit rate, generally your computer is new, it's fast, it's good. But if you have a slower computer, you're going to want a lower bit rate.
Then Bella Rosa asks, I have a MacBook Pro, which is 8 years old, and she also has a brand new MacBook Air. She's noticed that when she cams from the MacBook Air, her customers tell her that she has a lag, but when she cams from her older MacBook Pro, there's no issues. So her question is, should she sell the Air and invest in another Pro, or is this like an issue that can be solved?
Definitely email me. I'd love to get on that computer and see exactly what's on it, and what's causing that problem. But Yeah, I would just take what we said earlier about the recommended computer specs. If you wanted to venture away from Apple and get into Windows stuff, we can definitely suggest some computers that would suit your needs as well. But I would love to get on that computer and see what's going on. Email me.
And then V asks a really good question, which is what bit range is ideal. And just to add on to that question, I did want to ask, like, when when a model logs into the Performer app and it does the speed test for them, there's multiple like bitrate settings where it's like the highest, high, middle, like, you know, all those. And then at the bottom, there's an option that they can select that says automatically configure to the best settings that their internet speed can handle. So should they select that option where it just auto configures it for them? And then to answer V's question, what is the ideal bitrate range?
Yeah, I would. Are you using OBS, V? Go ahead and answer that if you can. If you are, I would use the suggested from the auto config. But ideal is with a brand new computer with, you know, top of the line stuff, you know, heat's not a problem. You want your bit rate to be about 2500, anything in between to 5000 for the bit rate. For good 720p video at 60 frames per second. The higher, the better.
And then Jono asks, specific to Mac, the Air versus the Pro, like what you would recommend.
I would recommend Windows. But it all has to do with, you know, your budget, what you're looking for, and what you're using that computer for. If it was just straight broadcasting on Flirt4Free.com, you don't necessarily need to be spending Apple prices. You can get away with getting a Windows computer for a lot less money.
And yeah, Jamie, for the OBS specific questions, go ahead and email Jared, and he could sort of guide you through or give you some tips on different OBS platforms.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, if you guys have any other questions, any other topics that you want to go over, feel free to send them over. If not, thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you, Jared, so much. I feel like I for sure learned a lot, so I hope that a lot of the people that joined also learned something new or had a question they had answered.
Thank you for having me. It's good seeing you guys.
Jared's email, you guys, is techissues@flirt4free.com. Let me actually write it in here real quick.
Oh, also, I wanted to give a shout out
thank you, Jordan.
to techissues@flirt4free.com, the tech issues section on studios.flirt4free.com. If you notice that you're consistently having a problem and you'd like to see a guide, go ahead and email me. There are guides there, there are videos there, and there's an email template there that'll go directly to me as well. We'd be more than happy to create a video, create a guide for you guys, and make sure it's up there for all the other models as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll talk soon, hopefully.
See ya.
Bye, Jared.